Hi guys, it's Max here from Vanguard Kaiser, and today we're going to be looking at my Gancelot deck profile. This deck is a really fun deck to play, especially if you're somebody like me who's a massive Royal Paladin fanboy. Utilises Blaster Blade quite a lot, and you can use lots of different things with Blaster Blade, like getting the Vanguard skill on Rearguard Circle, buffing it up to crazy amounts of power, and being able to drive check with it on Rearguard Circle as well. I've really enjoyed playing this deck, and it's not done badly at all. I think that there's a lot of people who are really feeling quite glum about Royal Paladin at the moment, and while they're definitely not the best deck in the game, I think that the amount they're being kind of downplayed as being terrible is unjustified, and I think the deck is actually still a very playable deck, and you could very easily take it to a tournament and still top. So with that said, let's get into the deck profile. So we'll start with my grade 4s. I run 1 Exculpate the Blaster. This is your game ender if you draw into it. Its skill is when it's placed, you counterblast 1, choose 1 card from your soul, and then put all the other cards into your drop zone. And when it attacks all your opponent's rear guards at once. So this effect's really good against Excel decks. There's nothing nicer than killing 8 units at once, and it's going to be very hard for your opponent to recover from that. The second effect is that after it's attacked, you can put 2 cards from your hand into your soul, retire it, and then pick a Blaster Blade from your soul and ride it as stud. So you can attack again, and if you've got a full field, you'll be able to get your double crit off of that as well. If you don't have a Blaster Blade as soul, you lose the game, so that's not ideal. Also, you really want to be killing them the turn you do this, so if you end up being stuck on Blaster Blade, you're going to have a really hard time afterwards. The one benefit of being stuck on Blaster Blade is that if your opponent has a unit like Gancelot or Mordred, which requires your opponent to be on grade 3 to get their skills off, then you might find it a little bit easier to guard. So if your opponent's got 2 Blaster Darks in the front row with Mordred, rather than getting 5 attacks off, they're only going to get 3 off. But still, ideally, you want to be killing them with this card if you ride into it, so you want to be pretty confident on the turn you go into it. Our second card, by no surprise, is our 4 Gancelots. I really like Gancelot. I think he's added a really nice skill into the game. This is the guy that gives Blaster Blade his single drive. So his first effect is all Blaster Blades on Vanguard or Rearguard gain 10k. Second effect, during my turn, if my opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, then my front row circles with Blaster Blade on them become Vanguards. This not only gives you the single drive, but unlocks the double crit if you have 4 Rearguards. The only caveat to this is if you have 2 Blaster Blades on the front row, because you've got 3 Vanguards, it means you can only ever have a maximum of 3 Rearguards, so you won't get the double critical. So you have to decide for yourself whether you'd rather have the critical on both of your Blaster Blade, if it's a single one, or if you'd rather have 2 drive checks. Personally, I prefer the 2 drive checks, but I do know that the critical can be a really nice pressure. Next, we have our Monarch Alfred. Now, not all of the decks are running this, but it's a card I really like as my first ride. If I've gone first and my opponent's on grade 2, I don't really want to be calling my Blaster Blades to the field straight away with them getting sniped and me not getting a single drive off of them or a double crit. But Monarch Alfred allows me to add a Blaster Blade from my drop zone to my hand. He also gains 15k when he does that, and if I do have a Blaster Blade on the field, then they gain 10k and 5k shield, so it's quite a nice card to have. If I've double rode my Monarch Alfreds, because I run 2 of them, then I'll get the double crit, but that's very rare that it happens. Next we move on to the less surprising aspect of the deck again, which is our 4 Blaster Blades. I'm playing an assortment of rarities here. So we've got our XVR, we've got our Image Rare Ibuki, we've got our Chara Expo, and we've got our Set 1 Image Rare. As you can tell, I'm a massive fan of Blaster Blade. I really like this card. Its skills are, if you have 4 more rear guards, it gains double crit while on Vanguard Circle. Really nice turn 2. And also when placed, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and retire it. This deck really isn't that Counterblast heavy. So unlike in the past where you'd really and ah about whether you want to choose Blaster Blade's skill or not, it's much more likely you decide to use it, because actually the deck, every single skill is Counterblast 1, so it works out really well for you. And we also run a damage on flip, which we'll get to in a little bit. So that's our Blaster Blades. We run the Bedivere K engine, so here's our 4 Bediveres. So the Bedivere K, I'll get the Ks out now, is a Superior Call and card generating skill. So we run 4 of each. Bedivere's skill is when placed from your hand, you can call a Knight of Friendship K from your hand, and if you call it, you draw a card. When they're in a column, they become a 24k attacker as well. Our K skill is, when placed from hand, counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Knight of Loyalty Bedivere, call it to rearguard and shuffle your deck. When they're combined, as I said, they become 24k. The really nice thing you can do with this is if you have both of them in your hand, turn 2, and you've got a Blaster Blade on the field, you can call your Bedivere, call K, use K's skill to call another Bedivere, and then you've got 3 out of the 4 rear guards you need to give your Blaster Blade double crit, which is quite nice as well. So they hit for a lot. They're really nice pressure cards, and I really like them. I think they probably will disappear when the MLB deck comes out because there's so many better cards, but they're really nice for generating things to guard with and also making your hand a bit bigger early game. Next, we move on to Knight of Truth Gordon. This is another card I really like. I play 3 of it. It gives all Blaster Blades 5k on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, which means that even if you don't have a Force marker and they're stood on their own, they could still hit over 13k. And also, if it's placed in the same color as a Blaster Blade, it gains boost. So if you have your Blaster Blade and you have this behind it, until you've got Gancelot as your Vanguard, Gancelot gives the Blaster Blade 10k. This gives it 5k, Blaster Blade is 25. Boosted by this, it's 35k. And that's not a number to turn your nose up at, so that's really nice. Knight of the Harp Tristan is one of the newer triple rares. This card skill is when your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1 and search deck for a Blaster Blade and add it to your hand. Really nice skill to make sure that you've always got Blaster Blades in your hand for you. Marin, I really like Marin still. I know a lot of people have stopped running it, but it's still a really nice card in my opinion. Its skill is once per turn, if another rearguard's placed in the same colour as it, you can counterblast 1, draw a card, and it gains 3k, so it becomes an 11k boost, and you get a card draw off of it. Really nice card, I really like it still. Gamoris is a newer promo. People really like Gamoris, I really like it. When it's placed, you can put a grade 2 from your drop zone to the top or bottom of your deck. Always the bottom in my case, and it gains 10k. Really nice for recycling your Blaster Blades if you aren't on Monarch Sentry Alfred. That's a really nice card. Pluck and Chancer, we run 2 of this too, and this is our Counter Charger and Soul Charge. Now it only counter charges if you've got no face up damage, but if you're on 2 damage or 5 damage, as long as they're all face down, it still counter charges, so that's really nice. It also soul charges for you as well. Soul Charge isn't overly important unless you're an Alfred and you get the other Alfred into soul, or you're wanting to go into Exculpate later on and you've used the Alfred skill turn 1 to soul blast your Blaster Blade to the Knight to your hand just to get the Blaster Blade back in soul. But still, the counter charge is amazing, and that's the main reason I run it. From there, it gets quite simple, quite vanilla. We run Glime. He's your when rode upon, draw a card. And then we run 8 crit. And 4 draw PG. And 4 heal. I don't think that really needs much of an explanation. That's kind of the standard lineup at the moment for Royals. Only other thing to say after that is that this deck can go into Force 1 or Force 2. If I've managed to deal lots and lots of damage to my opponent early game and their hand's quite low, I'll go Force 2, just try and finish them off. But in all other situations, I go Force 1 because it gives you that constant pressure that you need. And also, it's constantly getting more cards out of their hand than Force 2 would do. That's my deck profile. I'm definitely not somebody who would profess to being completely finished and somebody who won't be changing things around. So if you do have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Please comment if you do have any suggestions, and please subscribe to see more videos from us. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.